It is a very sad day for us collectively as Republicans, and particularly for women. Republicans, Bridget Hannah. I grew up with her name. You know, she was a household name when I was a child. I was very aware of her total and utter commitment to the Republican struggle from her youth, as much as I could. You know, she was one of the women I wanted to emulate. She provided a quiet, very dignified strength throughout the long, harsh days of the struggle, and even prior to the current conflict. Bridget Hannah was a byword for republicanism and all that's honourable within it. Bridget Hannah, when this latest phase of our struggle began, Bridget Hannah was one of the women who were there. She was a rallying point, as was Maura Drum, and women of that ilk, you know. And when we looked at them, we not only saw the potential for republicanism, but we also saw the potential for the role of women within republicanism. And I think that all our hearts are a little bit broken today. It is, for many of us, the end of an era. But we look forward to continuing on in Bridget's example and following the path that she gave to us. It's pertinent to remember Bridget not just as the Republican icon that she is, but, you know, Bridget, for her gentleness and her quiet strength, was an active Republican. She was an IRA volunteer. She was a lifelong member of the Republican struggle and unswerving in her support of our leadership. She was not a passive member of our community. She showed great leadership qualities, and she was, and today, you know, we bury Bridget Hannah, a Republican icon, but we also bury Bridget Hannah, IRA volunteer.
It is a sad day, but I mean, at the same time, Bridget was well over 90. She'd lived a full life, and I suppose we have to be thankful that she was around us for so long. My own views of Bridget are, Bridget was a very determined woman, very gentle, very quiet woman, but very, very determined, very clear about what Bridget could support and very clear about what she wouldn't support. And as a Republican woman, Bridget Hannah was an icon. Very unassuming, quiet woman, but done so much and gives so much, and you can't help but be inspired by people like that. I think the quiet ones are the ones who leave the lasting legacy, and Bridget Hannah's certainly going to do that.
Lifelong Republican, IRA volunteer, right up until she died, and you know, it's incredible that somebody, I think she was 94. The contribution that she's made to the struggle can't be underestimated. And just in one sense, and I know you probably have been talking to loads of people about her contribution in different fields, but certainly from a prisoner's point of view during the darkest days of the H-Block protest, the blanket protests and the hunger strikes, people like Bridget out here, the women out here with the relatives action committees, the support groups, the National H-Block Armagh Committee, can't be, you know, you just cannot say enough about the support. Hugely important to us on the inside, bringing in comms, the support, the rallies, the marches, all the stuff that was being done out here. People like Bridget and her, you know, in that office down the Falls Road and elsewhere all over the place, was absolutely huge, and definitely very, very sadly missed. Quite frankly, I mean, you can see with the amount of people here and the type of people who are at this funeral today that she was held with greatest esteem. The respect that she had, and others like her too, was huge, absolutely massive. And if you want to take this back to the contribution and the impact that Bridget and other women had, if you go back to the false curfew, in terms of what that meant, in terms of breaking the might of a British military machine in this area that we're standing in here under total curfew, where they marched straight through it, people like Bridget, Maura Drum and the rest of them, the contribution was massive, and we need certainly to get people to focus on that, particularly in women's contribution to struggle during the course of this campaign. Bridget will be very, very sadly missed, no doubt about that.
Well, it's a sad day for Republicans all over Ireland. Bridget Hanna's service to the Republican movement, over 50 years, 70 years to be correct, unbroken service to the Republican struggle. When people talk about a lifetime of dedication, Bridget was a lifetime. No distractions. She didn't drink, she didn't smoke, she hadn't got an immediate family. She didn't have a job outside of the Republican struggle. Anything that Bridget done had to be measured. Would it affect the struggle? Would it enhance the struggle? And I have to say that and her memory will be unique. I first met Bridget, I think about 40 years ago, and even then it was clear that Bridget's tenacity for work was unbelievable. You know, you'd have met Bridget at 10 o'clock in the morning, she'd have had 5 meetings done. You'd have met her at 10 o'clock at night, she was going to do another 5. And people around her of a younger age and a more physical kind of, you know, physique, she exhausted them. She exhausted them even looking at them. She never stopped. Every conversation was about the Republican movement, how you bring the struggle forward. Irrespective of what you had been involved in, Bridget had either a story to tell you or advice to give you or some kind of a reflection on what it was like in 20s, 30s, 40s and 50s and then right through to the 90s. Tremendous. I think, you know, there's the words of the song, you know, we may have brave men, we may have brave Republicans. Bridget Hanna was absolutely unique and will not be replaced. Will not be replaced, certainly not in my lifetime. It was a pleasure and an honour to work with her, and even better to know her.
It's a very, very sad day, as you've already said. The day that was a long time coming. Bridget was 94 years of age. She lived her life to the full, and she lived her life completely through the Republican movement. An incredible person in every sense of the word. She worked tirelessly for all aspects of republicanism, be it the dancing, be it the culture, be it the language, everything. She dearly loved everything about Ireland and its culture. Myself, I worked with her half a century ago in my first job, actually, in the Silken Wren. I was delighted to know her from then. I knew her through my father before that. Also, I came on to the National Graves Association, and she was a big influence there on us and on all aspects of memorials and parades and stuff that we would do year in and year out. I don't know how we're going to do without her, to be perfectly honest, because she was just always there, and she was Bridget. And I would say a lot of young people today probably didn't know her second name, but everybody knew Bridget. You know, and that's how well she was thought of amongst our own community. She worked tirelessly for the Green Cross, and the whole prisoner issue was very close to her heart. The H-blocks, the blanket protest, she felt that dearly, and you know, it nearly hurt her to think of the men on hunger strike, and she cried and cried sore. And again, as Jennifer said, the big thing in her life was the getting reinterment of Tom Williams, and believe it or not, she's buried not very far from him, which is brilliant. She had a big day the day Tom Williams was buried, and herself and me and Willie John McCurry and Joe Cahill carried Tom's coffin, and Bridget carried it with tears in her eyes, big time. It was incredible. A wee woman from the Falls Road, knowing the length and breadth of Ireland, and knowing with respect the length and breadth of Ireland, and all I can say is she's going to be very, very sorely missed, and the likes of her we would probably never see again.
If she would have known the respect that we held her in, because she was always saying to us how much she respected different people, but she didn't really realise the respect that everybody in the Republican community held her in. And again, as I said, I mean, her activism went right across Republicanism down through her life. And I would just say that I hope the family even gets some sort of comfort and condolences about the way that her friends in her later years, when Bridget took sick, looked after her, and the huge numbers today at her funeral. Bridget Hanna will go down in memory with a lot of us as a very, very strong, inspirational woman. And I have to say that the Republican cause was much richer for having her there. And I think that really, I mean, that the people today, I hope the family will get some comfort from us being here today and just giving her that recognition. I have to say, my fond farewells for Bridget. I will always remember you, and the Republican family will always remember you and will always be grateful for what you give to us. Thank you very much.
I've known Bridget since I was a young girl. I used to run in and out of her house. When I was about 13 or 14, I got to know her throughout my life and her life in the Republican struggle throughout the years. And my sister died 7 years ago. She was a great friend and comrade of Bridget's, and I sort of had the privilege of being able to sort of step in and be there and look after Bridget in later years. Well, my sister has a saying, and it's on her grave, and she used to say, "Are you a brave, strong Irish woman or what?" And Bridget Hannah was one of the bravest, strongest Irish women that I've ever met.